Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on just another frosty morning lately. Really happy to be here. We've been working on this development since July of 2018, and we're finally close to the finish line. We bought this property in July of 2018, as I mentioned, and we've been working with the community since then. We developed a plan that we think is a win for everyone in the community of Oceanside, as well as the County of San Diego, really Southern California in general. Ocean Kamp is located at the corner of Tucson Road and Highway 76. As you all probably know, it's the old highway drive-in movie theater site. We've been grading it for about 2 years, which has been quite an experience. So what I'd like to do today is just kind of run through the project as we are moving it forward through the city process, and let me know if you have any questions along the way, or you can save those for the end. Well, this is just an overall shot. If you were sitting in a helicopter right above the corner of Tucson and Highway 76. Highway 76 in the south is on the south side of the site, running right here. Tucson Road moves around the site, goes over the bridge over the river to the north. This is our main commercial component of the project. This really fun feature is we have 32 Airstreams that kind of provide like the glamping auto camp sort of experience. We also have some villa buildings around the project as well. And then this building in the back above the wake pool is a multi-purpose community room. Here is the overall site plan. Again, you have Highway 76 in the south of the site, Tucson Road looping around to the north over the river. The hotel building is designed to really capture the views towards over the resort pool, as well towards the surf lagoon. And again, we have the Airstreams over here, the villas, these 2 beachfront restaurants, as well as the community center. Here's a view from that second floor restaurant bar I was discussing. Really trying to create an ambiance that's an experience not for just surfers, but this is really intended to be an area where everyone in the community of Oceanside is hopefully really excited to come for the first time and quickly get addicted to it and have repeat visits over and over again. The whole project was really conceptualized around this theory of delivering the California lifestyle to every visitor to the project. So we really wanted to incorporate what we refer to as these pillars of engagement to the community, and really focusing on those particularly California things that we all do. Surfing being obviously one of them, mountain climbing, yoga, mountain biking, stand-up paddling. I'll go back a slide. I forgot to mention that the site is obviously adjacent to the San Luis Rey River. We're taking advantage of the fact that we're right next to the bike trail there. So we're actually linking up to the bike trail and bringing the bike trail into the site all the way around the site. This trail will have kind of multi-purpose trails kind of running in parallel. There'll be kind of a concrete walking path. There'll be sort of like a DG bike path, so you have the opportunity to mountain bike around it. You're not interfering with pedestrians and families walking around. And then we also bring it around in kind of like the fun mountain bike zone. We've been working with the San Diego Mountain Biking Coalition, even including a mountain bike pump track into the project. These trails loop into the residential neighborhoods and connect all the way around back into the San Luis Rey trail system. It's a pretty exciting opportunity because it's a 12-minute bike ride all the way down to the harbor, the beaches, and the Oceanside Transit Center. So there's really an opportunity to capitalize on, for residents or visitors, the opportunity to get to all points in Oceanside via bike, and you're basically never interfacing with vehicular traffic doing so. There's another look at the project looking west down the valley towards the airport. You'll see here we have this event lawn that's attached to that community center. The community center building is about 25,000 square feet. That lawn is another 20 or 25,000 square feet as well. So we have about an acre of area that is really programmed to be an event space that can be used by the entire community of Oceanside. obviously have to manage it, but the intent is this is really kind of thrown open to the public. You can have weddings there, conferences, you know, you could have a surf industry event, a mountain bike industry event, just another shot of looking back east, northeast over the Airstreams and the wave pool. We really kind of we clustered the Airstreams so that you could have, you know, family reunions or corporate retreats. You could have your company take up all 32 Airstreams for a weekend and have a big bonding corporate retreat. And we really think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity for that. So this slide is just really speaking to what we're providing to the city of Oceanside. We submitted well before Oceanside adopted its newest climate action plan. So technically we don't have to comply with it. We're voluntarily doing so. Part of the ethos of this project is really health and wellness. And so as part of that, we believe that being environmentally friendly is part of the overall picture of being health and wellness. As far as fiscal impacts go, the project in a 10-year period will bring about $81 million to the city of Oceanside. We're keeping 20 acres of the project as open space. We also purchased a 16-acre site offsite and deed restricted it in perpetuity to be an open space along an established wildlife corridor in Oceanside. The project is going to create well over 1,500 permanent jobs, as well as probably 2,000 construction jobs. We will include a cultural and surf exhibit on site. They'll probably be kind of rotating, but we'll be working with the San Luis Rey tribe as well to include heritage exhibits, as well as the California Surf Museum. We are also including an open to the public surfboard shaping day, which we think is going to be pretty fun. There's been a few of them in San Diego. A lot of them got wiped out by COVID, and people would love to see this back. It's also an opportunity to bring in guest shapers and live stream them shaping a board. And so you have this opportunity to actually interface with people you never have typically met in your life. I mentioned the 1.5 mile off-street bike and multi-purpose trail system as well. Community room. We're doing 5% of the units affordable on site, as well as paying a 5% in lieu affordable housing fee. But we are considering working with the community to deliver that other 5% offsite and other projects. Project timeline. So we submitted this application in November of 2019. We had hoped to be in planning commission this month. City of Oceanside has provided us with a new round of comments yesterday, so we have to work through those. Very unexpected, but we'll get through that. And the goal is to have this open to the public in spring of 2024. So with that, I will just turn to you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know.
We anticipate there actually being being able to have surfing competitions and things, because surfing is a big thing here in Oceanside.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I grew up surfing in Oceanside. It's a huge industry hub, and the opportunities to have events, contests, competitions are incredible here. We've had some initial conversations with some members of the International Olympic Committee about Los Angeles Games and whether or not this could be a site that's kind of an event site leading up to the games, or if things get a little kooky in Los Angeles, potentially it becomes a host site. So there's a lot of really fun opportunities with that. There's competitions and contests held in wave pools in Waco, Texas, and Lemoore, California, and they're wildly popular. So we believe that you bring all of that to somewhere actually close to the beach and where there's actually population, particularly surfing population, that'll be really well received. It's great.
I know, well, especially based on your other projects, you're extremely community orientated when you move into a community. This is, for lack of a better term, is there some form of membership, some form of regular basis, other than, I'm assuming you're going to give an Oceanside resident discount of some form, but is there some type of, I don't know, club? I don't know what
Yeah,
it would be.
It's a great question. It's one I'm trying to figure out right now too. There will definitely be an Oceanside resident discount for the wave pool. The calculus of figuring out how to run the wave pool with memberships
versus hourly versus the hotel guest. That's something we're trying to figure out. And to be honest with you, there's probably going to be a lot of learning on the fly there. I've been working with some folks at Disneyland and trying to understand their model for how they run their membership program and then daily guests, because, you know, maybe a little different than Disneyland, wave pools, most surfers are just addicts, right?
Mhm.
And if they had, I know if I had the opportunity to surf here whenever I wanted, however I wanted, for how long I wanted every day, I'd be here every day. And the kind of the initial issue they ran into in Waco is they sold too many memberships, and the pool was just occupied by members, and they're like, anyone that wasn't a member couldn't get in. And so part of what I've been trying to like really convey to the community is no, like this is a community wave pool that we're very open to the residents of Oceanside, San Diego County. And so we're trying to figure out how that's going to work, but there will be some sort of membership and club that there's going to be something to that effect.
Several of the local hotels and stuff have like staycation packages
Yeah.
that they offer to residents that are somewhat discounted that include all the amenities, maybe something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be staycations and day passes and things like that. So you don't have to actually be a hotel guest to enjoy all this as well.
What kind of capacity numbers are you gonna be? Like, how many people like on site versus like in the pool and stuff? Because I mean, I know,
That's a good question. So
I mean, when it's a full capacity, like all Airstreams, all hotel, and then it's like, you know, going back to the member, like, you know,
it's several thousand people.
okay, so you
Yeah.
can hold a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the wave pool's gonna be probably separate, because probably, I mean, there's gonna be a waiting list guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
it's crazy, you know, Waco, Texas is sold out every day.
Yeah.
And it's 90% people from California.
Right.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
Our wave pool, just to touch on that a little bit.
Mhm.
Our technology is really exciting. We can produce waves up to 8 feet high,
Was an announcement. Technology. Okay, cool.
and wave lengths of anywhere between 15 and 20 seconds. Really pretty awesome.
Wow.
And the way we can run the wave pool is in our sort of like the max capacity version, as we want to get as many people as possible. The wave pool breaks, the wave breaks 3 times in one push of energy. So you can have basically 2 expert surfers in the water, 4 kind of intermediate surfers, and 20, 30 beginners on the inside.
Wow.
So it breaks like an 8-foot kind of pumping
Yeah.
wave in the beginning, and then like
Like an A-frame.
yeah, and we can make it an A-frame, we make it all rights, all lefts. It's really fun. This technology is like you can contour anything.
Is it
So
similar to the Waco technology, like the freak peak and all that, and how you can turn it up and down?
it's similar but better. It's
Awesome.
kind of like the 2.0 version of that.
That's really cool. Wow.
So we use pneumatic air pressure and water pressure to fill up chambers of water and then release that energy into the wave pool at infinitely controllable increments.
Wow.
So we can, in our prototype, we made like an 8-foot slab, and that thing was just mean. It was a mean wave.
That's so cool.
And you can make air waves, you can make
Yeah.
longboarding waves. So we could have like a full longboard contest where the waves are breaking perfectly for longboarders, but we can turn it into super high performance wave where it's like lowers on the best day of lowers ever. So it's gonna be so fun. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Since we're on that topic, Mike.
Yeah.
I know it's not sexy, but you guys have all this stuff right up against the wave pool. There's gotta be some mechanical engineering that I mean, I know this is work on magic, so where's that gonna be?
Maybe I can get it.
Let me minimize that for you.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. And,
No.
That's a good question.
These are good questions.
Yes.
Thankfully, I have answers.
Because I've seen all the wave pools from everywhere else, and they've all got a lot of mechanical and engineering, right? And you've got grass.
Yeah.
Where is it?
So it's a good question because that was a huge concern. They're loud too, that mechanic.
They're really
loud. So our mechanical equipment is all under this kind of event area. It's buried into the ground. It's in The walls of it are about 1.5 to 2 feet thick. You're not gonna hear it. It's just completely.
How do you get to it?
Yeah, so how do you fix it?
So there's actually a little path right here. This takes us into the mechanical room of the wave
Ah,
pool.
okay.
Yeah, so you go right underneath it.
Oh,
Okay,
very
cool.
good.
It's really fun because the grade of this lawn and over here is above the water line. So you're up there kind of standing above the water, looking down at the waves coming out. So it's a really fun experience.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. And so like, you'll hear the waves crashing, but you're not gonna hear the engines that are creating it.
Do we have any questions from people joining us on Zoom? If so, just unmute yourself and jump in.
A question, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I recently surfed BSR in Waco for a couple of sessions. And I was actually wondering, what is the bottom made of for those surf pool?
So you enjoyed sliding around on bottom of the wave pool in Waco, huh?
That and then the end barrel section breaks in about 2 feet onto rough concrete. So I was wondering if this is rough concrete or not.
So there's a couple things in answering that question. So Waco's technology requires the water depth to be much more shallow. We're like 12 feet deep. So this is much more like being in the ocean. You're not going into a closeout barrel right under concrete, breaking the fins on the board and everything else. The entire pool will be made of concrete. We're looking into different foam applications to put onto the concrete towards the end sections of the waves, just to soften it up a little bit. You know, we looked at doing liners, which is what you found in Waco, that's super slippery, which is actually just roofing material that they use. It just gets ripped apart. The wave energy is so strong, it rips everything apart. So you have to use concrete, but we're definitely looking at, if you're familiar with like rhino lining, like that foam spray that just is adhesive to the concrete. So we're looking at doing something like that.
Got it. Thank you.
Mike, assuming that planning commission and city council and everybody goes along, which is a big assume, when does construction start and when is the projected opening date?
Yeah, so I was, again, hoping to be a planning commission this month. We're not going to be there. So everything's going to get pushed out. We're still grading the site. So technically we're still under construction, but we're actually almost done with that portion of the project. So I was really hoping to start construction by August and have this thing open by spring of 2024. But everything's getting pushed out now. So anyone in this room wants to help apply a little push to the city, that'd be great.
Going back to retail, when are you gonna be like considering people to join and all that? How's that process? When is that gonna
We're
start?
really we're getting there. I mean,
Okay,
it's-
you are.
it's-
Are you a point of contact for that? If
Yeah.
there's people that wanna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we definitely have started meeting with office tenants, some retail tenants. But I can disclose some of them, like Billabong really wants to have like a corporate flagship store here.
Wow.
Who else is there? Canyon Bikes, another company. Yori is another company that's been looking at. There's a lot of companies you probably are pretty familiar with who's moving around right now.
Yeah.
Did vans come through?
Vans is definitely on the horizon. So there's a lot of, so most of that industry, you can picture who they are. They're all in Costa Mesa. A lot of their employees live in Oceanside. And there's been a lot of talk about like, wait, how can we get in here and have this be our corporate headquarters? And it really fits with a lot of those brands' mantras. Another brand I've been talking to is Sunbum. Sunbum's really enthusiastic about the project, largely because it represents their ethos as well. It's everything outside, right? That's kind of where Sunbum's coming from.
And this kind of fits their brand, right? It's surfing, it's mountain biking, it's yoga, it's like everything outside. That's what their ethos.
So this area here. So this is kind of set up to do multiple things, outdoor yoga, having outdoor movie night with a screen projected on the back of this building. You know, you could have like the hula hoop people, you know, like there's just a lot of different things, different ways to use that space.
Do you have a license for live music?
We don't have a license yet, but there's every intent to include
Yeah.
evenings where like there's a band or a DJ or whoever out in this lawn and we have
Yeah.
the waves going and it's kind of like this whole big event that's just like basically a party on the site.
You can see that Kaboo coming into this thing.
Yeah, Kaboo's been mysteriously quiet. I know. There's one thing that is kind of like a fixed point is we are going to include about a 12 to 13,000 square foot smaller grocery store. That is for the folks staying on site that want to do kind of the long-term stay and cook their own food. It's also to help the neighborhood to the north. You know, their commute to grocery is awful. And so that is one thing that I think is going to be a great advantage to that community as well as the project itself.
Pardon my ignorance. So with the surfing, will there also be other opportunities for like teaching wakeboarding, or is it strictly surfing only? Is there times for the professionals, the intermediate, the beginners?
Yeah.
Are there other aquatic things that you plan on doing, or strictly surfing?
It will be mostly surfing, but there's opportunities to turn the waves off entirely and have like stand-up paddle or stand-up yoga in the wave pool. And then as far as the like who's in the water, so I think as I kind of brought up earlier in our like max capacity, we can have experts, intermediates, and beginners all in the water at the same time. There's also times where we might just say, hey, it's all beginners. Everyone, it's a free for all. Everyone get in the pool and you turn the dial waves down to something nice. Yeah, right. And then there might be times where it's like, okay, this is a full professional contest, and
I think that would make sense. I think the professionals would get a little frustrated with those that don't know what they're doing.
yeah, it's the way we set up the wave and how this works. The interfacing of like the experts with beginners they don't really meet each other in the water. So it's really been something we've had hanging
Which
around.
you mentioned, you're like a 2.0 is, there'll definitely be a 2.5 and
Yeah.
are you equipped to upgrade your system?
Thank you for bringing up the most frightening thing about this whole thing. It's been really a pleasure to have been able to go test like every wave pool in the world. So that's been awesome. It's also been like crazy to see how like, oh, this wave pool was so good 2 years ago and now it's junk. And it's just, that is the scariest thing. Part of why I really like this technology is it is a redundant chamberized system. So there's basically 24 different chambers that are all working together to make the waves. Inside those chambers are motors and fans and these like basically giant air compression machines. Thankfully with that, you can just yank that out, put in a new system. So we did that with an old pool. We did it with a 40-year-old pool. We took out the equipment and just put in our new stuff and it worked. It was like, oh my God, it works. Like, so we can always keep turning it up. There's a certain point where the wave gets a little too much. An 8-foot wave is a real wave. And, I'm not entirely sure we'd want to go much bigger than that just for safety reasons. To be honest, I have a few
waivers, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I've certainly,
Stacks of them.
yeah, there were definitely online waivers. I've surfed our prototype with some of the best surfers in the world, and I watched them pull back and like, oh, what's happening? This wave's gnarly. Like, it takes, when it's fully turned up, it's a lot. But it's a great question, and it's something I've been thinking about a lot.
But you guys have, it looks like there's other water features as well, though.
Yeah, like pools or.
A pool
Yeah.
and like a lazy, maybe, I don't know, I don't see that well.
Yeah, sorry, there's just so much. to
Jacuzzi.
cover. So,
A wave in the jacuzzi?
Yeah, there's, we're actually looking at putting, like hot tubs in along the wave pool, so
We'll
like
keep looking
with
into that.
plexiglass.
Keep looking into that one.
But the resort itself has, several pools as well, so we have, this is designed to have like a kid's pool, lazy river around this little like island that you can walk into, and then there's like an adult pool, because at some point, it's like, all right, kids, that's enough.
Yeah.
And then this pool over here is a rock climbing wall over water. So you don't need the straps or the person that puts all the harnesses on you and all that junk. You can just get in the pool and start climbing and fall in the water. So
That's
it's,
pretty hardball.
yeah, it's kind of funny because you start looking like, how tall do you want this to actually get?
Yeah.
But we've been looking at, some pretty cool stuff where you like, it's indoor, outdoor, you start on the wall inside and climb out over the water and fall in. So you can do a lot of fun things with it. And that's again, that kind of goes back to maintaining some flexibility as to what the world looks like and when we get there. But I think that's going to be a great feature of the project.
What are the dimensions of the wave pool?
It's about 4.5 acres. And it's 250 feet wide and 600 feet long, something like that.
250 by 600, yeah.
Well, thank you all very much. I really appreciate your time.